All right, we are back. This is Ben from Evolve Sport Nutrition, and today we're doing a little bit of a different video because, unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, the content I recorded over the weekend didn't record with any audio. So, always a reminder to do audio checks with your video if you're gonna do YouTube content. For those of you that know me, know that I have not been in love with nutrition and dietetics for quite some time. And there are many reasons for that. But what I want to talk about today is what, of course, this is, what I'm hoping to do with it, and all that kind of stuff. Now, I haven't been in love with the nutrition world for quite some time because it turns out to me that I haven't found the right thing that I wanted to do in nutrition. It's not that I'm done with the world of sports nutrition or anything like that. It's just that I wanted to find a way to be more effective at doing it. And of course, the lockdowns, pandemic being what it is, there was a shift in regards to what kind of athletics were available, and therefore what was reasonable to train for, and of course get my clients trained for. But the underlying thing is ultimately food needed to be done, and with this current lockdown in Toronto, Ontario, that we're dealing with for, it feels like, the billionth time, I've decided to take the opportunity to look at what really I am excited about producing in the world of nutrition and how I can effectively help my clients. And of course, I came across a lot of research, did a lot of my own stuff, and stumbled across this concept called culinary medicine. So what is culinary medicine? In my research, I found this one paper that I thought was really, really great, done by Dr. John Puma, entitled What is Culinary Medicine? What does it do? And I'm going to link that paper down below. I'm going to go over it really, really briefly, paraphrase whatever I can, try not to read off the screen. But the opening paragraph here is, culinary medicine is not nutrition, dietetics, or preventative, integrative, or internal medicine. Nor is it the culinary arts or food science. It does not have a single dietary philosophy. It does not reject prescription medication. It is not simply about good cooking, flavors, or aroma, nor is it solely about the food matrices in which micronutrients, phytonutrients, and macronutrients are found. Instead, culinary medicine is a new evidence-based field in medicine that blends the art of food and cooking with the science of medicine. Culinary medicine is aimed at helping people reach good personal medical decisions about accessing eating high-quality meals and help prevent and treat disease and restore well-being. So, I'm going to stop there, but I mean, that essentially copies, that describes a lot of what it is I'm looking at right now, is how to use nutrition, how to use food, how to do all those kind of things, and like I said, to help people reach good personal medical decisions about accessing eating high quality meals that help prevent and treat disease and restore well-being. So the paper goes into talk about 5 reasons why the author basically theorizes a rise in culinary medicine. So I want to go through them because I think it's very, very interesting, and the exact reasons with my own added in later on for why I'm really interested and excited about culinary medicine and what I plan to do with it. So the first reason is flourishing interest in eating out away from home and in food and cooking in popular entertainment media, as well as oft conflicting popular dietary advice, especially about weight management and chronic illness. So basically what this is saying to me is that there's a bigger and bigger departure between food media, food entertainment, and of course the health messaging, and of course the people that cook food, and of course the people that talk about food. And I couldn't agree with this more. As a dietitian and a former chef and pastry chef, I often have these debates in my head about what to choose, health or taste and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, for a long time in the beginning of my career, that used to be 2 separate discussions. Now it is the same discussion on how to maximize both, but of course, know when to give and when to take and all that kind of stuff. So, yes, it is very, very true that the majority of the people that talk about nutrition don't talk about it from the perspective of how to make it delicious. Rather, they're talking about nutrition from the perspective of what foods to choose to do certain things, but not how to prepare the foods in an appealing way. So that is I think a huge like home run hit right off the bat. The people that talk about food and the people that prepare food often have two separate goals. Yeah. Number two, widespread dissatisfaction with conventional medical approaches to chronic illness, together with popular excitement about integrative medicine. This could not be further from the truth. I mean, I can't help but notice and recognize the very real recognition that people are looking at questioning conventional medicine. The prescriptions, their health goals are to get off the prescriptions as much as possible, to reduce side effects or whatever may have you, or just the idea of their idea of less medications means a healthier person. But there's less of a satisfaction with conventional medicine, either through a ton of different things like superbugs, overuse of antibiotics, and what that's done to our health, and all those kind of things. I'm not here to talk about all those kind of things, but more of a interest in a return to integrative medicine. I can definitely speak to this quite a bit. Being someone that was raised with Chinese traditional medicines, this has always been seen as the approach from my perspective of how do we integrate those kind of things, and of course nutrition and diet being a big part of that, as we hope to explore more on, because every culture in the world has their own health beliefs about what foods do what. These have certain healing properties, and of course those cultural elements are not generally a part of dietetic recommendations or advice, and we need to bring those elements back, so because they're very, very important. So that is one thing that is definitely true. Widespread dissatisfaction of traditional health practices and health advice, and of course looking at integrating medicine into everyday lifestyle factors. Number three is the near ubiquity of highly processed and convenience foods, accompanied by an increase in suspicion of their health value and acknowledgement of their hyper palatable nature of fast food. So basically, fast food is too available, it's too cheap, and it doesn't have our health in mind. Now, this is 100% true. We can talk about this day in, day out, but it's a very difficult concept to talk about because there's many things at play here. Socioeconomic factors being one of them, and the major one, when you have very little time because you're tired from working, your job that's exhausting, or multiple jobs, or not having enough money to prepare foods, or even have the money to have the equipment to prepare foods, it often ends up being a decision of, okay, I have X amount of money and I need to eat now, and everything else is an investment that's not going to feed me now. So do I starve now, or do I try to build up these recommendations that are unstable? This is the unfortunate health issues and the health debt that comes with low socioeconomic status, and one of those things that we're hopefully looking to address here. But yes, cheap food is not really the best for you or has the best health goals at mind, but of course ends up being a lot of what is relied upon for multiple reasons. So yeah, it's a trap that way. Number four is the rising cost of healthcare. With the growing economic burden of diet-related, non-communicable health risks and diseases, with reports of some 30% of low-income older U.S. adults having to choose between purchasing medication or food, and with the dearth of healthy food procurement and promotion policies in institutions, worksites, schools, and government. So basically, a fancy way of saying, healthy food costs too much, and cheap food is subsidized too easily. This is American data and all that kind of stuff, but it speaks to food insecurity across the world. Everyone has to make these decisions between buying food, or their medication, or rent, or shelter, or clothes, or heating, or electrical, or everything to that degree. There's none of a recognition here, and one of the things with the interest here, what it's basically saying is, like, ultimately you do have to buy food, so combining that with a health decision in mind is one of those things that makes this very, very interesting and appealing because of the rising cost of healthcare. Right, number five is a revived enthusiasm for additive-free organic food, home gardening, local agriculture, and farmers markets. Now, this is basically a way of saying people are very interested in seeing where their food comes from, understanding what the organic route looks like, all those kind of factors. We've seen waves of this, the 100-yard or 100-mile diet, farm to table, no food waste, and all that kind of stuff, which are all concepts we will be exploring within episodes and future episodes. So very, very interesting stuff. So those are Dr. LaPuma's 5 kind of reasons. I've got a couple of thoughts of my own. Okay, so one of the coolest things to me about this is that there's so much evidence that this kind of stuff is already happening. Whether or not we consider the anti-inflammatory diet for arthritis or other inflammatory conditions, and that of course looks at nightshade vegetables, all that kind of stuff, high glycemic index foods, the ketogenic diet being used for epilepsy, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, all that kind of different stuff. Based on the developing and expanding research. The Mediterranean diet for cardiovascular disease, that's been one of the most well-established diets for cardiovascular disease out there, and it's been well-researched and all this kind of stuff. Soy nuts for systolic and diastolic hypertension, honey and milk for acute coughs, baked or boiled fish for heart failure. There's a ton of these different food beliefs and all that kind of stuff, and treatments, basically prescriptions on how we do things to treat and benefit our medicines, our conventional therapies, and all that kind of stuff. It is a way to enhance, but to support the body while it's receiving treatment. It's really cool. I'm all in for this kind of thing. It's what I've been teaching a lot of my clients to do for the longest time. However, not able to do the cooking aspect. So what I'm hoping to do in this series is cook together with you, basically. Teach you all how to cook the way I do, how to cook for different diseases, different health conditions, different abilities. One of the biggest things I found out recently is I'm in the process of being diagnosed for ADHD, adult onset, and that explains a lot of my life, actually. And I've discovered that the way I cook is actually very, very different than the way neurotypical people cook, and that is why it's always been very, very different to me. So being able to address health through culinary medicine is one of the many things I'm hoping to bring to you in this new video series or whatever, but hoping to create content around that. Very excited, very, very happy. The first episode, which I have to reshoot or find a way to do a lot of voiceover work to explain, is all about how to make collagen and bone broth soups. So stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Hit like, subscribe, share, that kind of stuff. Hopefully we'll learn more about culinary medicine together. So I'll see you soon. Peace.